Kurumzari, for the last 1000 days, a part of India has been burning. Not a symbolic fire, but a real one, consuming homes, records, and the very idea of coexistence. But today, I want to talk about something even more dangerous than the fire. I want to talk about scalpel. In the high wall of office in Delhi, they are talking about administrative solution. They are talking about separate administration. They are using sterile clinical language to describe what the people of Manipur call an amputation. If you go to the relief camp in Moirang or the streets of Imphal today, in early 2026, you won't hear people talking about stock market. You won't hear them talking about national ground strategy. They are talking about a map that is being redrawn in the dark. For the people of Manipur, the Meitei Pangals, and those who believe in a unified state, this is not a political debate. This is a life and death situation. Why? Because you cannot cut a 2000-year-old body into three pieces and expect it to live. Today, let's go deep. Let's look at the history that the national media is too lazy to read and the geography that has become a case. To understand why a territorial integrity is a sacred oath in the Valley, you have to look at the Kangla Fort. Most of you think Manipur became India in 1947. No, Manipur has been Manipur since 33 AD. Under the reign of Nongdale and Pakhangba, this was a sovereign kingdom with its own written history, the Puya. It was a kingdom that fought the Burmese in the Seven Years' devastation and stood up to the British in the Anglo-Manipur War of 1891. आप सोचिए, think about it. In 1947, when the British left, Manipur didn't just merge, it became an independent constitutional monarchy with its own assembly. It was only in 1949, under circumstances that the veteran journalists like Pradeep Phamjawam have documented for decades, that the Maharaja was allegedly coerced into signing the merger agreement in Ceylon. The people of Manipur didn't join India to be divided. They joined as a unified kingdom. For a Meitei, the integrity of Manipur is the only thing that they have left of that ancient sovereignty. If you take away the hills, you are essentially telling them that the 1949 sacrifice was for nothing. You are telling them their history is being deleted for a bureaucrat's pen. Let's talk about the math of survival. This is the part that experts on TV channel never tell you because it requires looking at a topographical map. Manipur is a bowl. The valley is only 10% of the land, the hills are 90%. 60% of the population, the Meiteis, the Pangals, and the other communities are packed into the 10% valley. The population density in the valley is 730 people per square kilometer. In the hills is 61. But here is the catch. Under Article 371C, the hills are protected. A Meitei, an indigenous person of the soil, cannot buy an inch of land in the 90% territory of their own state. But the law allows anyone from the hills to buy land in that tiny 10%. What do you call that? Local intellectuals call it a geographical case. When the Kuki-Zo groups demand a separate administration for the hills, they are not just asking for autonomy. They are asking to turn that 90% of the state into a foreign country for the people of the valley. Imagine living in a house where you are locked in the kitchen, but everyone else can walk into your room, and now someone wants to build a wall and take the rest of the house away. Would you call that a political solution, or would you call it an existential threat? One of the biggest lies being peddled is that this is a religious war, a Hindu versus Christian conflict. To those people, I say, go read about the Meitei Pangals. The Manipuri Muslims have been part of this soil since 1606. During the reign of King Khagemba, they are not migrants, they are the sons of the soil. They speak the same Meitei language, they share the same culture, and they have fought every war for Manipur's protection. Up here, look at the record. Why are the Bangals standing so firmly for territorial integrity? Because they know that a divided Manipur is a dead Manipur. They understand that their identity is not defined by a prayer mat, but by the hills and valley of this state. When you see Pangal mothers standing with Meitei mothers in the Maida Paibi protest, they are sending a message to Delhi. This is not a communal issue. This is a civilizational issue. If Manipur is divided, what happened to the Pangals? They become a minority within a minority, trapped in a valley that has lost its lungs. As we sit here in 2026, a silent partition is already happening. The central government created buffer zones. They sent in the central forces to separate the communities. But what is a buffer zone? In any other country, it is a border. If a Meitei farmer cannot go to his ancestral field because it is in a buffer zone and a Kogi student cannot come to the university in Imphal, the state has already been divided in spirit. Local editorials in Nepal Free Press are warning us this is a balkanization by management. Instead of solving the root cause, the illegal migration from Myanmar, the narco terrorist network, the demand for ethnic homeland, the government is simply managing the status quo. But the status quo is a slow poison. It is killing the economy. It is killing the education of an entire generation. It is giving room for those who want to carve out Kukiland or Nagaland to establish de facto government. So, why is this life and death situation? This is a life and death situation because Manipur is the frontier. If you allow the territorial integrity of Manipur to break, you are opening a Pandora box for the entire Northeast. You are telling every ethnic group in India that if you fight long enough, if you create enough buffer zones, the Indian state will eventually give up and hand you a map. For the person standing at the gate of Kangla today, integrity is not an abstract concept. It is the year they bred. It is the promise their children won't be refused in their own land. Delhi might be silent, the celebrities might be busy, the national media might have moved on to the next sensational headline, but the people of Manipur, the Meiteis, the Pangals, and the many Nagas who also believe in a united state, they are not moving. They are telling you that you cannot amputate a limb and expect the heart to keep beating. Think about it. Hi, I'm Maibam Noor. If you think this analysis need to reach the people who make the decision, share it, not for me, but for Manipur. Jai Hind.